So I'm going to move this session on even more. I'm going to talk about plants. So I'm a PhD student at the University of Sheffield, where I study the palynology, so the fossilised pollen and spores from northeast Yorkshire. And these represent the remains of a forest that used to surround an inland sea called the Zechstein Sea, right at the end of the Permian, so 255 million years ago. So up here is our reconstruction of the sea: arid, hot, inhospitable, not really conducive to life. But we know that when the sea first transgressed into its basin, it was surrounded by a very substantial gymnospermous forest. But according to the late Permian climate trends of an increasingly hot and arid environment, it's said that this forest died out after 1 to 2 million years. But I don't believe that, because the pollen evidence that I have found suggests that this forest came back 3 to 4 million years later. And this begins to raise some very, very interesting questions, because it challenges the assumption that the UK 250 million years ago was simply a barren desert, and that actually it was damp enough at times, despite the impending doom and gloom of the end Permian mass extinction, to support a transient forest system. So the main message for you guys here today is the UK 250 million years ago was wetter than we thought. And this is my evidence. So this is an exceptionally well-preserved assemblage of palynomorphs that has been obtained from borehole material drilled by my collaborator company Sirius Minerals just outside of exotic Scarborough. The forms that we have up here, these are bisaccates. They've got stripes on them. We call those teenage and stripe bisaccates. This shows us that our assemblage was dominated by conifer trees. The other smooth ones that we've got here, and our monosaccates and our trisaccates or mutants, show that we had some pteridophytes in there as well, some pteridosperms. Sometimes we get cycads, but I haven't got a good enough picture to put up here to show you today. It's worth noting that this assemblage is very, very similar to that of the original forest, so we've got some strong ecological niche effects at play here. And because I can, these are the sorts of plants that the pollen would have been produced by. These are macrofossils from the original forest. I've only got a palynomorph record from the resurrected one. And what's really interesting about these plants is that their morphology shows that they're actually very phylogenetically advanced for their time. And that just means that they look really, really similar to plants that you might recognize from today. So these ones over here, they're conifers. They look a bit like modern pine trees. We've got another conifer here, and that looks a little bit like a monkey bristle tree. Also got a fern-like frond, which is quite nice. We've also got forms that you might not recognize. So this is an ancestral ginkgo, and this is an ancestral horsetail. So instead of this idea of a barren desert-like landscape, this is what I believe that the margins of my sea would have looked like. So once again, this resurrected forest challenges the assumption that the UK 255 million years ago was a barren desert, and the margins of my sea actually probably had more environmental precipitation that would have allowed this transient conifer-dominated forest system to come and go with changing climates. So what I'm doing now is a few things. The first thing is I'm trying to figure out where on earth this forest went. Where did it go for like 5 million years? And I'm also trying to match the taxonomy of the pollen with the taxonomy of their parent plants, because at the moment we don't know what pollen was produced by which plant. We have 2 separate lines of evidence, but we don't know how to match them up. And I'm hoping that that will allow me to build up an even better ecological reconstruction. So more data, meaning that I can really get a better understanding of how all these plants were changing with climate at the time, how they were responding to really short-term dramatic changes in climate as well. And that should have implications for the predictions we're now making about how conifer forests and gymnosperms as a whole will and may respond to current and future anthropogenic climate change. So thank you all for listening, and I'll take your questions.